This is Yanni and Demos, and thank you for being here. We'll just cut to the chase. What do we do? How can we control any device? And we mean just look around you, any electrical device, by simple, short voice commands. This is our mantra. And this little guy wants to do that. Very early on, I mean, we looked around us and people were facing various problems, how to control various devices in their normal lives. We thought, you know, there's elderly, but then we realized that there are people from any age group, from any walks of life that could benefit out of having something which could be controlled with short voice commands. And lifestyle wearables, the areas abound.
Now, the solution. The solution lies in the center. It's a tiny little printed circuit board that we have developed, and that has its own microphone. That has its own microphone and a very inexpensive microcontroller inside. And it could take at least three versions. A voice control, you can control attached appliances by voice, short voice commands. A presence detection, where you can leave it in the room and it can detect human presence by listening at the existence or absence of speech, and then switch things off when not required. And also the portable voice controller, which is this little thing. Now, moving on, there is a little demo that will tell you more about how this thing works.
Lock, open, lock, open. And the portable voice controller by Quantimetrica. And after opening the cover, you can see the QM1 PCB by Quantimetrica, the button cell, and underneath there is a Bluetooth radio. Lock, open, lock, open.
Why now? It was reassuring to find out that a lot of big players are really active in the voice processing regime and also the home automation. For example, Amazon with its Amazon Echo, which is probably the best-selling electronics device under $200 on the Amazon store, and Honeywell with its voice-enabled thermostat, but they are doing voice processing. And also in the home automation regime, you have Apple's HomeKit Alliance, the Philips Hue and the Belkin Wimos. So it was reassuring to know that all these big players are active in this field, and we have been proponents of that for some time now. And it is one thing that we can add a voice processing functionality to those players at a very minimal added cost. So let's move on.
Now, we looked at the market size, and very early on, what are our beachhead markets? Where do we turn first for revenue? And this will be through a partnership with a very well-known company, at least in Greece, to control a DIY door lock from a distance, and also the smartphone task automation, as we showed in the demo. Now, some very interesting research pointed out by Cisco looks at about 50 billion connected devices by 2020, just only 4 years away from now. And a very other piece of information they say, it's 5 billion users with access to electricity. Now, at least one electrical appliance, they could be having 5. How many do we have? Refrigerators, we have looks in the house. So, taking a very conservative estimate, just 1% out of that very huge domain would be looking at 50 million units produced. Just a 1% very conservative estimate. Then we looked at the competitive landscape now, and how do we differ vis-a-vis some of the gigantic market players that we see there. Some very important offerings, some very very quality players. And Quantimetrica is using the other end of the spectrum.
We're not actually competing with these guys, we're just complementing their offering, because in some cases, if you want to control a device with something that costs, well, you cannot strap a $600 iPhone to your light bulb to control it. It doesn't make sense. But if you can control it with something that costs $4, then it's beginning to make sense. So we're not competing with these guys, we're doing something different. So, the product. As we showed you, at the heart of the matter is this little module that could take 3 different forms: presence detector, voice trigger, or the portable controller. Presence detector, voice trigger, portable controller.
There's 3 products.
You're beginning to get it?
Are you getting it? It's actually one product which we're covering with 2 provisional patents under USPTO and 1 in progress.
So it would be one thing that changed guys into different applications. And there will be more applications as software updates, because you install the hardware, has everything in it, processing, microphone, radio, you name it, and then you can just add use cases by software updates. Now, the business model. How do we make money with this? Well, we're actually selling hardware. The cost of the software license is embedded in the hardware cost. So this could be an add-on to existing products. For example, you're making a coffee maker and you can add one of these guys to add voice functionality to your coffee machine.
Bring George Clooney back with multiple Nespresso cups.
Yeah. So you can ask for his Lungo and the coffee machine starts pouring. Or in new products, you can embed it into your design flow and build your product around it, having voice functionality. And last but not least, software is implemented in portable C, and that can scale enormously in different applications where you don't really need the hardware, but we can integrate that in the design flow of somebody else in a different platform, compile it for them, adjust it, and go.
Our most important asset. You can recognize at least 2 persons there. And we have also David, which very early on, David Tuckman, in charge of the iPod division and overseeing the launch of the first iPhone. We have Dolly as well in that slide, which is, and Dimos and I, Nikos, people who have at least 20 years experience in their individual fields, experts on the fields.
Who have worked for companies that you've never heard of, like the one with the Apple.
Thank you very much. So we're delighted to present what we have produced after many milestones into this series of 3 products into one, effectively.